All right, class, you have now reached the midpoint of the class, and I want to let you know that you have all done very well in learning this very fine art of legal reasoning. The process of going through different scenarios and seeing how the law applies to them over the last 4 weeks has done very well to help you to understand that fine art and to practice it. Now, you've had the opportunity in the past 4 weeks to have had the actual cases where the decision was made in the scenario that you were presented. Now, for the first time, we're going to be challenging ourselves to see if we can do the same quality work without that safety net of actually having the case itself there for us to use as guidance to decide on how we should legally reason the case. All right, so we're dealing specifically with the You Decide Week 5 assignment coming up. Now, again, this is a wonderful challenge because we want to get ready for this, mostly because it's another practice opportunity, but without a safety net. But that's the same thing that's going to happen in the final exam. So this is your chance to do some really good work now and convince yourself that you can, in fact, do exactly what you need to do well in the final exam. So let's look very quickly at the Week 5 You Decide assignment. And essentially what it has to do is go through this video that will go through a scenario of events regarding Mr. Coleman, who works for Software Inc. And he's got lots of problems, does lots of big mistakes, but he's working for Software Inc. at the time, so we're going to deal with agency law almost exclusively. And in the process, you're going to answer these questions, and that is, should Coleman win his wrongful termination suit because he was in fact terminated from employment? Will Software Inc. be liable for the owners of Jimmy's Bar? Because what happened was Coleman went into the bar and decided to do a little trick with some fireballs and ended up burning down the entire bar. He was doing that entertainment thing because he was actually trying to get people to buy the software. So the question then becomes whether Software Inc. is going to be liable to the owners of Jimmy's Bar for the burned down bar. Okay, and then what about Jimmy's mom? She was there, or she had something to do with having liability here. Will Software Inc. have to pay Jimmy's mom also? And then, of course, as Coleman was going around, and before he actually went to the bar, he went to a jewelry store looking for a ring for his beloved, I guess, and went in and ended up stealing the ring. And then the next question is, Software Inc. liable for the stealing of the ring at the mall? And then, of course, then after all this happened and after the bar was burned down, one of the people who was there by the name of John was approached by Coleman, and he wanted to, of course, apologize for what he did. And in that process of apologizing and taking John out to dinner, Coleman got real angry with John and ended up sort of beating him up and acting very poorly, to say the least. But at the time, Coleman had already been terminated from his employment with Software Inc. So the question then becomes, is Software Inc. liable for the injuries to John from Coleman, because Coleman was presumably trying to apologize to John as an agent for Software Inc. And then you're going to answer this last question, that is, if you were Software Inc.'s CEO or head of the HR, what policy would you implement to try to limit the liability of Software Inc. for people like Coleman and the crazy things that he was doing? Okay. Now you'll see that this is just a made-up scenario. This is not something you're going to find anywhere else in the world. You will not find a case where this actually happened. This is just a sort of a playful, but in a sense serious inquiry into how we would apply the law to a given set of circumstances. So again, this is your challenge to bring in the law and do your best to see how well you can do on your own without having the case to actually check your work. Of course, you'll have my feedback, and I will let you know everything that you do well and areas that might need improvement if that's the case. But based on what I've seen so far, I'm seeing some really good work. I expect all of you can do a very good job on this without the help of looking at the case itself. Okay, guys? All right, so again, if you have any issues, you have any concerns, please feel free to email or call me, and I will do my best to help you in every way possible.